At FantomWorks, 3 things matter to us. Cars, country,
This motor rocks.
and cards. We make cars better than the day they rolled out. And for us, this is more than a job. This is our life. Love your car as much as we do, and we're gonna get along fine.
I need it in 2 months.
Mostly. Truth is, if we have to pick between you and your car, we're not picking you.
Oh, gentlemen.
We've got a 1926 Velie coming to the shop. Really interesting for us because I've really wanted to get into the restoration of pre-war cars. Sir, come on in, grab a seat. The Velies were produced from about 1910 to around 1930.
There's only about 90-some left in the United States.
Okay.
When I bought it, it was like a brand new car to me. And I never heard of a Velie. It's a beautiful car. I haven't had it fired up for 44 years.
You do understand that brand new 50 years ago is a little bit different than brand new.
When you look at it, it still looks brand new.
Okay. Lowell and Joe, the father and son that are the sort of the co-owners of this Velie, I think they both love the car, but there's that, you know, the father is building the car as a legacy to the son, but the son knows full well, this is Dad's car, it's not my car.
And my thinking, well, all you gotta do is just put some gas and oil in it, it'll fire right back up again.
So you've seen cars probably in worse shape than this one. So ballpark, what do you think it's going to take to bring it back to life?
I don't know. I don't know what it's going to cost. I don't know what's wrong with the car. The challenge to the Velie is huge because not only is the car 90 years old, it has not run in 50 years. You put those two together, and this is really a monumental challenge for us to take on, especially since it's our first pre-war. Was the car properly pickled or stored? Did you drain all the fluids? Did you drain any of the fluids?
No.
The reality is that a full restoration on a pre-war car, which is what we're talking about, can't normally be done for under $100,000.
I think Dan's numbers are a bit on the high side. Money's not an object for my father. For me, this has got to be a realistic spend.
Can I make a recommendation? Mechanical systems start at around 10 grand. What do you say we get it here and we'll start with a mechanical survey and start with a budget of 10-ish. But when I get it here, I'll let you know if we're actually close. And you can decide where to stop and when to stop. Is that fair enough?
That's fair enough.
All right.
That's what we'll do.
Sounds like we've got a plan.
Okay,
Thanks,
sounds
Dan.
good.
Let's get the car running. Let's give my father one last chance to drive the car. That's really what this is about.
We agreed to start with the basic mechanics to get the Velie running. That means engineering most of the engine, fuel system, cooling system, brakes, wheels and tires. The challenges are huge, and it actually kind of scares the shit out of me, but we're gonna do it because we have to break into that environment, and I wanna do post-war and pre-war cars at the same time.
All right, so I went ahead and I went through all the logos that we picked out for Wounded Wheels, and I finally just settled on the one with the keys and the tag. I like that one the best, so I went ahead and had a sample t-shirt made up.
Restoring heroes and hot rods. That's cool.
Yeah.
I started planning for Wounded Wheels at the same time I started the company FantomWorks. I've always been a soldier, and then I saw these kids returning home from combat in wheelchairs, and their sacrifices inspired me to do something more. I want to put them in a sports car, in a muscle car, in something that they desire to drive rather than a minivan, and give back to them something that they've lost. As a designer and builder, I knew I had a better shot at getting pregnant than I did of convincing some other fab shop to allow me to put a wheelchair into a muscle car. So I had no other choice. I created my own company to build this in-house. FantomWorks is that company, and now Wounded Wheels is the most important thing I've ever done in my life. I've been searching, and I found what I think is the perfect start point for building a prototype.
So we actually have a car. Like,
Yes,
we have
we
a
do.
car for Wounded Wheels.
Yes, I expect to see it back here tomorrow or the day after. Audrey has been with me longer than anyone else. I interviewed her for a job at a car shop and she really wasn't all that interested, but when I explained to her what Wounded Wheels was and really how important it was to me, instantly she understood the program and embraced it. She took the job, and since then she's been my biggest ally on this program.
Wounded Wheels is really important to me. My brother went overseas. He's in the Army, and he broke his back. He was lucky and he can walk, but a lot of these kids that are going over come home really badly hurt. People see them differently. They feel bad for them. They don't give them the respect and the dignity that they deserve. This project helps with that. And a lot of people see it as, oh, you're just giving military a cool car, but it's not that. We're helping them get back to being themselves.
It's very cool because soon we're going to have more than t-shirts and paper. We're going to have a car, and we're going to start bending metal to make this program happen.
That's awesome.
All right, very good, thank you. I'm hoping that when people see this car, that they'll support this program in such a way that we can build as many of them as there are veterans who have lost their legs in combat. In the case of the Velie, I'm going to turn it over to the younger guys and sort of see how they cut their teeth on it. There are no manuals, therefore the specifications we need, everything from how the oil pumping and priming system works to the fuel system is going to be hit and miss. We're going to have to figure it out as we go.
This thing's a beast.
Can I bring this old technology and a 25-year-old guy, bring them together and make a union that fits?
That'll work.
That's going to be really the tough part of this build.
I definitely want to get into this engine and find out what's going on. This car is totally sweet to me. I want to get in there and start working on it as soon as possible.
Dino is the perfect man for this car because he's a self-taught mechanic. And you want to take a mechanic that wasn't taught by books for a car that there are no books for.
Check this out. We've got a coat hanger used to assist with the, what is that, clutch return spring?
Nice. That's how mine works.
No, it's never a good sign when you find coat hangers holding up, important pieces of the vehicle.
Another one holding the exhaust pipe together.
This car's gonna be a total nightmare.
Hey, Dan, it's Hank. I'm about 30 seconds out with your car, man.
Is this the Chevelle? Is this ours?
Oh, yeah, man. This is the car. This is the one right here.
Hank just got back from Kentucky. He picked up the '70 Chevelle SS that's going to be the prototype for our Wounded Wheels project. You didn't screw this up, right?
No, man.
Okay. I don't need some piece of shit rust bucket to start out with.
The first time I looked at the Chevelle, I thought, man, this is a gorgeous car. And then the second part kicked in and said, but wait, Dan, I need to nitpick this thing to death.
Sounds real good.
It's a finished car until you get your hands on it. It's already done.
Yeah, this is not the way we generally start projects with finished cars, so. Hank has done an amazing job. This car is the perfect prototype vehicle for our Wounded Wheels project. Audrey's brother was wounded in the military, and I know that this is a very personal thing to her as well. I'm really excited to show her this car, and I know she's gonna love it. So, have you seen it yet?
No. As soon as I see the Chevelle, I was in shock. Like, it was a reality. We were actually getting this project off the ground, but I didn't know what to say to him. I'm a little worried. It's kind of small.
Do you realize we got this at a relative bargain basement price? The lines are good, the chrome is good, the interior's solid.
I expected a piece of shit, to be honest.
Yeah.
The inside is a lot smaller than what I was expecting for what we need to do with it.
It's about as reasonably big a muscle car as I would want to do with this program.
I think it's too small.
This is exactly what I was hoping for.
I think it's too small.
We just got a beautiful 1970 Chevelle in for our Wounded Wheels project to build a car for disabled veterans. I thought Audrey would be really excited about it, but instead, she's pissing on my parade. The program is about taking a gorgeous car, something that people want to drive, and putting them in it. And to convert something big and ugly, we kind of miss the whole point of the program. So the Chevelle is that car.
It's really shiny.
No one else has ever been able to do this, so just by virtue of the fact that it's hard, makes me want to do it even more. To convert the Chevelle into a car that can be driven by paraplegic veterans, we need to add a power reverse opening third door, a custom articulating ramp, a floor drop system for getting the wheelchair into the car behind the steering wheel. Then we need to add a hand control system for the accelerator and brakes. And we need all of this to fit into a car that was originally designed to be low and fast. The first thing we have to do is make the door wide enough for a chair and ramp to go into. It's time for us to start mapping out where our cut lines are on the metal. Once we have the opening as big as it can be, at that point we'll start mapping out ramps, turnstiles, and everything we need to get this wheelchair from the outside to the driver's seat.
These are kind of our options.
Okay.
I don't think I can bring it this far back because we're just going to be digging too far into the wheel well.
Well, but the thing is the farther back we cut it, the more access for this chair and this ramp.
I don't think it's reasonable to bring it any further back.
So 3 inches is that big a deal?
Yeah.
3 inches is an amazing amount of difference when I'm looking at a 1/4 inch being the difference between success and failure. So the 3 inches he wants to take, it's almost a mile in my mind right now.
That's all I
can get?
That's all I got.
All right.
Dino's pulling apart the 1926 Velie to see what's going on inside. I'm a little afraid of what he's gonna find. The car is 86 years old and was parked for 50 years with the fluids left inside it, and that's a bad combination. There's a lot of problems lurking inside this one.
When the Velie came in, I knew it was going to be a big job. Just started with the basics, checked the fuel systems, the oil, the coolant. Uh-oh. Got a hole in the tank. I just need your opinion on this tank. I don't think it's savable, but I figured I'd ask you first. Oh, it's like butter.
I'd rather build a new one than try and fix this one.
All right. Well, there's no gas in there, and I don't know what's in there, but there's something. There's something in there.
Something in there.
The hell is in there? Whoa. When I dropped the gas tank and got my first real look inside of it after Kyle opened it up, it was definitely a new experience. I've never seen nothing like that before in my life. Hey, you guys want a snack?
What is that?
It's a brownie. You want some?
Looks like you burnt it.
No, it's crispy.
It's not crispy.
What the fuck is that?
That is what's left of the fuel in the Velie gas tank.
No, come on.
That is gasoline returning to its original state. Whole gas tank is lined with it.
Holy crap. That is unbelievable.
You know, I've seen this stuff turn to kind of a shellac, you know, thick. I've never seen it turn into a solid. That's a first for me.
Yep.
Let's just chuck everything in it and rebuild all the fuel lines.
This is what came out of the cooling system.
Oh.
Radiator, hoses, everything else, that was all throughout the cooling system.
Okay. It's cool to see how far decay can take a vehicle in 50 years. That is unbelievable. At the same time, it's a little spooky because we've got to build this car. The radiator on the Velie is completely rotted out, and the fuel system and the generator will have to be built from scratch. This means a bigger job ahead, and unfortunately for Lowell and Joe, it means more money just to get this car on the road. The floors in the Chevelle are in great shape. Unfortunately, we have to cut them up now to fit the wheelchair underneath the steering wheel.
The thought of cutting up a perfect Chevelle is incredibly painful, but I've never been so excited to cut up a car in my entire life.
How's it going?
It's going. We don't have as much space as we thought we did between the frame and the drive shaft.
How much do we have?
We're a good 1.5 inches shy of the chair.
The damn thing we can do about moving the drive shaft. We're 1.5 inches off. can we take that much out of the chair? We expected this Chevelle's modification process to be tough, but quite honestly, it's far worse than we ever thought. Do me a favor. Jump in the chair. I kind of want to see you come back, and I want to see how much guidance you're going to need.
Backing up, your tires spin.
Oh, stop right there. This is a huge problem. We've just added, you know, 3.5, 4 inches of outward throw that we simply can't have on a ramp that's already going to be.
Yeah.
You know, it just keeps getting smaller. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
The damn drive shaft in the Chevelle is closer to the frame than we expected, and the wheelchair won't fit. The mountain's gonna have to come to Mohammed. JP is my machinist. I'm gonna get him to narrow the wheelchair, redesign it, and make it fit. This car is just a microcosm of FantomWorks. It's f***ing impossible, but I'm gonna make it work. I served in the military as a Green Beret, and now to give something back, I've created a nonprofit program called Wounded Wheels. We're trying to convert classic cars to be driven by disabled veterans, so for the prototype, I've chosen a 1970 Chevelle SS.
We don't have as much space as we thought we did.
So far, this car is kicking our ass, but this program is way too important to let a few setbacks stop us. No, we'll absolutely be there. We'll set up on Friday, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate this. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Yep, bye. Hey, Audrey. We just got invited to an air show with over 100,000 people going to attend, and the Wounded Wheels car is going to be center stage at this air show.
That's awesome. When is it?
It is on the 16th.
It's like a week and a half away.
I know. We got to get some work done.
I mean, if we can get it done, yeah, it's great, it's awesome, but can we get that done in a week and a half? There are gonna be hundreds of thousands of people at this show. If we don't pull this off, that's gonna give a really bad impression.
Tell you what, grab JP and Kyle. We'll have a quick meeting about where we're gonna go with this, but yeah, I think we can.
All right.
All right, thanks. We're gonna get the Chevelle as ready as we can for this air show, but the reality is it's a full year out from being a developed final prototype. I'm praying that we can get enough of the car put together that people can understand the concept and sort of forgive us our trespasses, but I'm not gonna miss this opportunity to bring this car in front of all these veterans and show the world what we've accomplished. God, I hope nothing falls off this car at the show. With the problems Dino found on the Velie, the rebuild effort is now a lot more complicated. There are less than 300 Velies left in the world, so any parts we need are simply not available, and we'll have to make them.
I have parts that are held together by 50-year-old dirt, and you gotta beat the hell out of it. It's identical to the old one.
Kyle was able to create a replacement gas tank, so that's one down and about 1,000 more to go.
The issues I'm having with the engine is I don't have any information on it. Nobody knows anything about these engines. Everything in this car, I gotta wing it. The thing I'm really worried about is getting the engine started. I mean, even though we've taken all the precautions, cleaning parts, remanufactured what we had to do, it's still no guarantee that when we put fuel fire in this engine, if it's gonna turn over on its own.
Are you crank start it? Sweet.
It's trying. Rebuilding the Velie's hand-cranked engine is a big challenge because there's no parts and no manual. Dino's challenge is to get it running so reliably that Lowell can use the push-button starter that's been rebuilt every time to get it running.
Nah, something's not quite right. The gasket I made might have been too thick. I am so pissed off at this car right now. I am ready to freaking take a hammer to it.
The Velie, she's constantly kicking our ass. When it comes to a project like this, you get to the point where I've just had enough, but I'll never give up, and Dino sure as hell is not gonna give up. The big day is here, and we're gonna get to show the world what Wounded Wheels is all about. I'm a combat veteran, and I've seen what the devastating effects of injuries like this are on soldiers and their families. Okay, that's good. We have a group of wounded vets waiting to see this Chevelle. I do not want to let these guys down. I'm hoping that they're going to look at it and they're going to understand what it is I'm trying to do to put them back in a car of their dreams rather than being relegated to a converted minivan. All right. Outstanding. Good job. What do you think? Did you give up your minivan yet?
Yeah, definitely. I'd give it up.
Okay.
We'd be on the way to the house now.
All right. It's not as comfortable. Doesn't have quite as many modern features, but
yeah. You give away comfort what you want, so I'd definitely make a sacrifice or two.
We have your approval?
Yeah, it works out for me, man. Good to go. It's pretty much indescribable. Like, it's like being 16 and getting your license again, or like getting that special little toy that, you always wanted. Like, it means a lot for me personally.
For necessity, I drive what I drive. For dreams and wishes, that's where my dreams and wishes are.
now that I see what it means to people, it's been phenomenal. I'm even more excited that we're doing the right thing. Right now, we're still playing with some things. You can see the turning of the chair as he tries to come out. It's a little tough to control those wheels.
Doesn't seem like a lot, but in a chair, like that's like a foot. Like just that little bit of space is drastically getting in and out.
His ramp is still a bit of an issue. His concept is going really, really well. They're just huge problems that he's going to run into.
These chairs are pretty strong. It doesn't take very much to get over this lip. And when you go over the lip, you're on the ground.
The learning curve is huge. What I learned mostly is that we're not as far down this path as I thought we were. Our concept was a big hit, but there's a lot more work ahead to make this car a reality. After debuting our handicapped accessible Chevelle at the air show, it was a huge success, and now Jeff has invited me to go to Mobility Access and see what they're doing with some of the state-of-the-art equipment that we need to consider using on this car. For me, this is going to be a learning experience. So, Patrick, what we've got is a car that we've installed a ramp in.
What kind of car is it again?
It's a 70 Chevelle SS, so it's a pretty cool car.
Yeah, it's kind of a short car, isn't it?
Well, yeah, trust me, there's lots and lots of problems with a Chevelle.
Mm-hmm. When he told me he was doing a Chevelle, I was wondering how he was going to fit such a big wheelchair into such a small car.
We're not there yet, and I'm actually looking for some ideas.
Here's a ramp that might be able to help you out. This system uses this pretty small little electric motor on the side that helps lift it, and then they use a chain to help fold the ramp inside.
That's amazing. I'm staring at a simpler solution than anything I'd come up with. This is too wide for what I need, but that's amazing the way it sequences and comes down. So you don't have any hand control systems that would work with a 70 Chevelle technology car, would you?
Yes, let's take a look at this one here. This unit uses a servo motor to actually press on the gas pedal and press on the brake pedal. Start. To do the gas and the brake is done with this computer.
Okay.
There's actually two computers double checking each other for safety.
How much is something like this going to cost?
The price of it is around $40,000 or $50,000.
40 or 50,000?
Yes.
Holy shit. I knew there was going to be a price tag, but I was thinking in terms of $5,000 or even $10,000. We can't afford that at Wounded Wheels.
A lot of technology here.
We're using donations to build cars for wounded veterans, and I'm simply not going to be able to generate that kind of capital.
Got paid quite a few more than that, but it was well worth the money spent for me to have that final piece of independence again, and that's what driving was to me, was that final freedom to be normal again, I guess.
Wow. I got to come to grips with all this and now sort of see where I am. I've got to come up with a plan B and actually build our own hand controls, because what we wanted to do, which was bolt-in hand controls, is no longer a viable option. I know it's been a while since you've seen this. You sent it here a while ago, and
I'm really anxious to see it.
The owners of the 26 Velie have stopped by unexpectedly to see the progress on their car. It's been a real challenge so far, and there's still a lot to do, so it's going to be interesting to see their reaction at this stage and just how far they want to take this restoration. Hey, Dino.
Lowell and Joe are going to be inspecting the progress on the Velie, so I'm a little bit nervous because it's been kind of difficult to start.
We need to show you.
There was a lot
in
of
your
gas in that
system.
fuel tank.
No, there wasn't. There was a lot of something in there.
This is the tank?
This is the tank. That's your gas.
It was filled with that.
The whole thing was layered.
You're kidding.
It hadn't been liquid this century.
This run?
There's only one way to find out. Starting the motor. That's the biggest worry, and it's the most exciting part at the same time, because if it doesn't work, I'm gonna look dumb, and if it does work, it's gonna be awesome. All right, here we go.
Wow.
When I saw Lowell's face after we started the Velie, I saw him taking a quick trip down memory lane.
What do you think? It's been a while since you've heard that, isn't it?
That's right. It's been years since I've heard that. The last time I heard it was in 68, 69.
68.
When I first saw this car, I fell in love with it back in 62, and I'm still in love with it. I don't want to ever get rid of it.
Having Lowell see his Velie come to life for the first time in 50 years was absolutely amazing. This is what I created FantomWorks for and what I live for.
I want this pulling my casket to the grave. It's so great to see it run. And you are going to go ahead and chrome plate the radiator and the bumpers.
That was the next thing. Now that Lowell has seen his car run, he's requested a complete interior restoration, including Spanish blue leather seats, rebuild and plating of chrome, new wide whites on restored wheels, and a restoration of his tri-tone paint job.
When can we drive it?
Well, we're very close, actually, to driving it. I know it doesn't look like it right now, but we really are. We're down to the last couple components.
So the next trip back, we're going to drive it.
We're gonna go for a ride.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I promised Joe and Lowell that they could drive this car the next time they were down, and it's on Dino to make this happen. The 1926 Velie has made great progress since the owner's last visit. Because the car was stored indoors and the body and interior were overall in amazing shape for an 86-year-old car, we were able to restore rather than replace things like the wooden wheels and much of the paint on the car. That both preserves the value of the car and reduces the bottom line cost to Lowell and Joe. They're coming from Indiana in a few days, and I promised them the car would be ready to drive. It's up to Dino to make sure that happens.
I've been working on the Velie on and off each day for about 2 months now. I've been the only mechanic that's touched this car the whole time it's here. And yeah, I'm ready to work on something new. So I hope this works.
Dino's been talking for days about test driving the Velie. Today is the day.
I finally got all the work done. I've had the engine running several times on the motor. I put it in gear. Hopefully everything goes well.
Think we pick up some chicks in this? All right, we're gonna do a brake test. Oh, dude, the f***ing brakes are not right. It wasn't good. No, it wasn't good. They did eventually stop, but not like I want them to.
To find that I have brake problems on the Velie is very frustrating.
It drove great, man. I mean, you know. That don't mean nothing if I can't stop it. I gotta put it on the lift. Check the wheels on your side, see if anything's leaking.
All I can really do as far as the brake system goes is start at square one, check pressures, make sure I have no air on the lines, make sure the brakes are adjusted properly. They can't drive the car the way it is, so it has to get back on the lift.
It's just the wheel cylinder itself is leaking?
Coming out the drum. I got fluid dripping out of the wheel cylinders. Can we see that light real quick? It's coming right out the piston.
So that's 2 of them that are bad.
Great, now I gotta pull the wheels back off. Wonderful. I'm just really irritated right now, because now I gotta take it all apart and do it again.
Between the feedback we got from our disabled veterans and what we learned at Mobility Access, the Wounded Wheels project is really starting to take shape. The cost of the computer-based hand controls was way beyond the scope of our project, but we were able to locate an old-fashioned cable-based control system instead.
This is on the control side, and this actually goes to the throttle linkage.
We attached it to the Chevelle steering column and then ran the cables to the brake pedal and throttle so the driver can accelerate or stop with one hand. It's simple, cost-effective, and a lot more manly than the touchscreen. Next, we designed a 2-part system to get the veteran in a wheelchair, into and out of the car. First, the ramp extends from behind the driver's seat with the help of a chain and pulley to support it. Then the wheelchair is guided onto a motorized sliding table that lowers the chair down behind the steering wheel. It solves our space problem and addresses the issues veterans brought up at the air show. I'm really hoping this gets us one step closer to giving veterans part of what they lost in the service to our country. Lowell and Joe are on their way here from Indiana, and I promised them the Velie would be ready for a test drive when they got here. Unfortunately, all 4 brake cylinders are leaking, and it doesn't make sense. They've just been rebuilt.
Not only do they leak, but they leak all over everything.
Dino is at his wit's end, so I'm gonna step in and help him drag this car across the finish line. Now, you know you're gonna have to just apply light pressure to stop from blowing my fingers off, right? We're going to blow compressed air through the brake lines to try and get these pistons moving. We have to figure out what's going on. More. Whoa, that's true. Yeah, do it again. Right there, hold it, right there. Stop.
Nothing?
Nothing that's jumping out and kicking my ass.
We can't figure it out. It's almost like something that should be there that's not. There's no smoking gun right now, as far as I'm concerned.
No shit. I've got brake problems and owners on their way. I have to get it right, and we have to get it right now. The rear puck is good. That puck is dry. And this puck is leaking. The piston's less than a 1/4-inch clearance from the end of the wheel cylinder, and here it's
all the way in.
Yeah, much farther in, and as you can see, that's the side that's leaking. That's what it is. I'll tell you that right now.
It's going back behind the seal.
What we discovered was there's a fairly large puck inside a fairly small wheel cylinder. This puck only has about 1/8 of an inch of movement, and if it's anywhere beyond that 1/8 of an inch too far inward, it essentially will leak. Basically, you've got the fluid coming out ahead of the puck instead of behind it.
You know, that does make a lot of damn sense.
That's exactly what's causing that.
Well, at least that's a little bit of good news, isn't it? I mean, it's not good news it's leaking. It's good news I'll have to freaking send them back.
Is this where I kick you in the jimmy?
No.
Okay. Now that we identified the problem, Dino just needs to adjust the pucks and reassemble the wheels. Our first pre-war restoration is complete, and it looks great. We have a special venue planned to present Lowell with his Velie, but first, I need to go over the numbers with his son, Joe. When you first came in and you asked me, how much is this going to cost? I said, well, it depends on what you want. And remember, we started with mechanicals. We started with an engine where we had to rebuild the engine itself and redesign components. The fuel system was gone. Every single piece of the fuel system had to be replaced or redesigned. The brake system, we found out, was never even rebuilt properly in the 50s. We had to redesign the wheel cylinders and then build you an entirely new master cylinder. So that system was redone. And that's really where we were when you and your dad visited. Right. And then your dad got very excited. He wanted all the bright work. Everything from an extensive rebuild of the grill shell to everything from light bezels to door handles to a restoration of the paint. And then 100% of the interior has been redone in Spanish blue leather.
Are you sure that I want to see this number?
All totaled with all these things, we're a little over $45,000.
Wow. 45,000.
Yes.
We started at 10. We ended up at 45.
I'm a little upset at the moment because the father asked for all of those things. I actually came in under my original estimates, and now he's looking at me like I'm ripping him off.
Frankly, I didn't think it was going to be this high. 45,000.
Yes.
We started at 10. We ended up at 45.
I just shared the final numbers with Joe for the restoration of his father's 1926 Velie, and unfortunately, he got a case of sticker shock. The only cure for that is I need to show them what their investment has bought. Joe, right now, I think you're only seeing a number, and I need you to see the car. We actually have a special delivery that I would like to take you to right now and actually show you your car.
I had no idea that we're going to spend this kind of money on the car. I love my dad dearly. I want him to be happy. I just hope it's what my dad wants.
We've got a real surprise for Lowell. A friend of mine has a classic theater that is a perfect backdrop for this 80-year-old car. So we're going to deliver the car in front of this antique theater.
Look at that. Check that out. Wow. Oh, my
Dino,
God.
very nice.
You're back with your girl.
That's right. She's back to life again. I never thought I'd see that day, but I am. It's so beautiful.
Sir, it was our honor to do it for you.
Definitely.
I'm
Certainly a
glad.
pleasure.
I sure appreciate it. You've done a heck of a job. It's like falling in love. To see that car again and in the shape it's in, it is wonderful.
Is this what you remembered?
No, it didn't look this good.
So we gonna sit here and talk about it all day, or are you ready to go for a ride?
I'm ready to go for a ride.
Let's do it.
My emotions are driven by the customer's emotions when they finally make contact again with their car. And right now, I'm in seventh heaven.
All right, here we go.
It's been the love of his life. And he's had this car since before I was born. We've never, ever driven that car. Never, ever ridden in that car. So for me, it's wonderful to see this. We wanted to bring this car back to life. And I was concerned about what we would invest in it.
Right.
And what you've done is you've brought it back to life. At the end of the day, I'm a businessman. And we walked into this, I had no idea what it was going to cost, but it's worth every penny I'm going to spend to get this.
Seeing a man like Lowell reconnect with his car, that makes it all worth it. It makes the really tough days worth these moments.
Being involved with this Wounded Wheels project, it means a lot to me. My stepdad was in the military. My dad's dad was in the military. It most definitely has some significance for me to see somebody get some freedom back that they lost from protecting us.
Can I use it as though I were in a chair right now?
Yes.
Let me do it.
Most everything on that car has been quite a pain in the ass. The car wasn't designed to have a wheelchair in it or a ramp in it or a third door. Everything is working by motors and electronics, actually, you know, the door opening and everything else. I mean, it looks like a transformer, really. I mean, it's pretty neat. All right, let's do it. Test drive with Dan was pretty good. This is pretty f***ing amazing. He was smiles ear to ear the whole time. We did a few burnouts. It was a good time. That rocks.
The test drive on the Chevelle was an amazing event. 6 years of work, and I've had my doubts up until today.
Yeah. Oh, hell, that was fun.
The car works, and I am absolutely excited about that. We're here at our first actual unveiling of the car with the systems up and working. For me, very nervous about today. I want it to go really well. If this goes well, it's a tremendous launch for Wounded Wheels. It gives the world a chance to see what we've done, and I think we're off to something great.
This is the first time I ever seen this. You know, you can get hand controls and everything and work your way around it, but this is way beyond anything I ever seen before. For him to do this, wow, man, it's unbelievable.
Have we capped 100 grand on this yet?
I'm sure we have. I'm sure we don't even have everything figured in that we have into it, so.
Hell, if we did this car to make money, we...
Probably in it for the wrong reasons.
We did the wrong car, yeah.
Yeah.
Audrey, let's sell some t-shirts, okay? Hey, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming out and helping us sort of celebrate this moment. Now, we'll see if JP can do it on his first try. I'm looking extremely forward to seeing how people react when the car pulls up and unfolds. It took us a long time to figure that one out.
Here it comes.
Outstanding. Everybody at that moment got it. They loved it. There was a sense of excitement in the crowd, and it all worked. And for me, a lot of tense moments had been waiting for that, and then it all just sort of went away, and it was like, wow, this is actually working.
It's a great thing. It's a great thing, especially for these young guys now, coming back from Afghanistan, Iraq, to have something like this. You will want to drive that. You will want to, get out in the public again, and mingle with people. Cars going to serve an excellent purpose.
I couldn't have asked today to go better. There was always a question on how will other people react? How will other people take it? And seeing the way that everyone supported it and everyone clapping and being excited, it's overwhelming. It's an opportunity I couldn't ever pass up, and I'm honored just to be a part of it.
What happened today was an amazing point for Wounded Wheels because people, instead of having to hear about what the car will do, saw it. When that door opened up and the wheelchair came out, people saw that someone with fairly severe disabilities could now drive a muscle car. It was the fulfillment of a 6-year dream that came true for me and I think a lot of other people today. We restored our first pre-war car, Joe and Lowell's 1926 Velie. We brought an 86-year-old relic back to life, along with a lot of great memories for the owner. We took a 1970 Chevelle SS that everyone thought was too small and created a wheelchair-accessible prototype for Wounded Wheels, a program to help rebuild our nation's wounded heroes.